a lot of time. There's an allegation that these men, these CIA operatives, were forced to sign, or whatever, to sign non-disclosure agreements, confidentiality agreements, which the accusation is that would be highly unusual for them to be asked to do that because these CIA guys have to sign that at the beginning of their employment. There's no reason to turn around and ask them to sign that again, and the suggestion is they were asked to do it at the memorial service for the guys who died in the Benghazi terror attacks, that at that memorial service they say, hey, can you sign another one? And that they did it. Is that true?
It appears that they did, in fact, sign a non-disclosure agreement on the date of which they returned to the agency. Now, there's 3 people that have been interviewed, or 4, candidly, that had to sign non-disclosure agreements. There's an explanation for all but 1, and that's certainly something that came out in the hearings here that we're going to have to go back and ask some further questions on. We have to remember, these folks are dispersed all over the world, and the administrative things that they have to do every time there's a change in their agreement. There's rule requirements that they have to sign another one. Sometimes it happens candidly, and sometimes it doesn't.
Come on.
No, I'm just saying
on the day of the Benghazi memorial service, with non-disclosure agreements already in place, they're asked to sign one. I mean, that doesn't pass the smell test.
Well, no, it doesn't, and unfortunately there are reasons to sign it, but there are also, it doesn't pass the smell test that it happened on the day that they came back. That's the one discrepancy that came out of all of this testimony that will require further probing by the committee, and that is ongoing. Matter of fact, we had some meetings subsequent to that on that particular issue. But let me tell you one thing, Megyn, that I think gets missed in this. We've spent a lot of time on the time frame and a few minutes difference between the team leaders on the ground and maybe the guys on the ground, and there was a 15, and then we spent a whole year worried about that 8 or 9 or 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to spend some time. The non-disclosure agreement, I do think, is a substantive issue. But here's the problem. The agency folks on the ground told the State Department people on the ground, if you guys behave the way you do now, you are going to die here in Benghazi. That's a problem. And so they knew it. They requested up through the State Department for additional both armament and additional security services that was denied. So, and here's the other thing that came out of this that I thought, we need to get to the bottom of this. There was a posting of a threat in the area, non-specific, that the agency personnel received leading up to the event. So think about this. You had the agency personnel were on high alert. They understood that 9/11, they had a generalized threat. Why didn't the State Department know? Why didn't they react to this higher threat environment? And why didn't they honor the request by the security guys on the ground at the temporary mission facility supposed to guard the ambassador? They ignored all of that.
Wow.
So the problem here, we're going to spend a lot of time fighting about the few minutes or what happened with the CIA officials on the ground.
Well,
we
it's
have
relevant
run every lead to the ground.
If the State Department didn't send help, people want to know why. But listen.